Hi guys, today I'll be taking a look at a unique tactile switch, the Akko CS Jelly Blue. Let's get started. Now, according to Akko, this switch has a dual tactile bump and you can actually see this in the force curve. Although, as you'll find out later on, it's a bit of a gimmick and just part of a marketing to try and stand out. Now, in terms of pricing, these go for around $12 for 45 switches on Akko's website, placing them in the budget price bracket. And this is what they look like when disassembled. Feel free to pause the video. Now, let's move on to the switch categories. On-center key presses are very smooth with very minimal scratchiness. Off-center key presses are also very smooth but with most switches showing minor hints of scratchiness. Overall though, these are very smooth, pretty much on par with previous Akko switches I've tried out, so these weren't exactly a surprise. 8 out of 10. Now, according to Akko, these switches have an actuation force of 40 grams at 2mm, a peak tactile force of 60 grams at 0.3mm, and a total travel of 4mm. So, while it may seem like a light switch from the numbers, the peak tactile force is on the heavier side of things, making for an interestingly balanced weighting. Kinda. You see, in terms of the actual weighting, I would describe these as medium weighted, specifically before actuation. However, since the spring is on the light side, bottoming these out can feel quite harsh if you're heavy-handed. Moreover, the second tactile bump is a right gimmick. It can't be felt even on the slowest of key presses, so I'm not even sure why it's a feature because it's basically non-existent. Overall though, these strike the balance between a light and a heavy switch, although I would still prefer something a little heavier during bottom out. 7 out of 10. Now, sound is very clacky, which at this point is a signature of Akko switches. Again, not a big surprise. However, the switches installed in my R&D keys sound a bit plasticky. Take a listen. Now, I suspect this is due to the inconsistent construction with the metal contacts, as the sound can only be heard upon actuation. Personally, I'm fine with it, but I can see it being a deal breaker to many. Overall, they sound more than decent enough and I really do like switches like these. 7 out of 10. Now, take a listen and enjoy. Now, as I already mentioned, the second tactile bump is a useless gimmick and it didn't affect my typing experience in the slightest. However, the rest of the experience was quite pleasant. Additionally, these have proven to be very smooth and very consistent, which is another really good trait I've seen in Akko switches. Now for the downsides, whilst it does do a better job than Gatron Browns or Altama Browns, it doesn't hold a candle against enthusiast grade tactile switches such as the Berber U40 or the Duroc T1. Even Akko's own Lavender Purple is better than this in my opinion. Overall, this wouldn't be my top pick for typing as it does lack the tactility I want, but it is at least a better option than the common brown switch. 6 out of 10. Now, gaming in short, pretty good. These are smooth, reliable, and most importantly, consistent. Plus, these are tactile and decently weighted, and for me, I have to award these with some extra points just for that. I'd say the only real letdown is the lack of tactility during fast-paced gameplay, which I happen to play a lot. Although for other types of games, they've served me just fine. I do still wish they were a bit more tactile though. Overall, these are a solid pick and I'd easily recommend it to those looking for an upgrade over regular brown or rubber dome switches. 7 out of 10. In conclusion, whilst it does have a weird gimmick, it's a nice entry-level switch to the hobby as a whole given its availability and price point. The final score for this switch is 35 out of 50 or 70%, which is a great score given it's a budget switch. And that's the end of the review. Next time I'll be taking a look at another tactile switch. Until then, take care and goodbye.